there's a sort of, it feels like there's a little bit of a distinction here. The Fifth Third Bank is dealing with this highly personal information and the privacy and security that's really important, and that allows you to create these highly personalized offers and personalized product, really. Yep. Whereas with P&G, everybody buys the same P&G products, but I bet you that's not true. So Guy, how do you think about like data for personalization? And is it going to be the case soon that when I'm buying my detergent or my soap or my consumer product, I'm getting a really personal experience? Or maybe it's more on the marketing side, thinking about personalizing the offers. How do you think about data, privacy, personalization? Are you doing what Fifth Third's doing?
Yeah, we actually have quite a few initiatives that are really about personalization, both on the brand marketing side. So how do we make sure we deliver the right message at the right time through the right medium to our consumers, much like what Jude says, in a way that's relevant versus not viewed as relevant. So data underlies all of that. And you can imagine what's associated with understanding the consumer in enough detail to be able to serve them in a relevant way with the right message and the right medium. We also have, from a product perspective, an emerging area which we've actually showcased over the last 2 years at the Computer Electronics Show, which is smart products. And these smart products are IoT connected devices, which essentially will allow a personalized experience. And so these devices help us understand usage, and then even fragrance, scent, and things can be personalized based on the individual that's walking in the room. And so we have a number of devices that have launched that we've showcased at CES. And it's a whole new frontier for us in that really the product is now turning into a technology-enabled device, and it's all about enhancing the consumer experience. That's ultimately why we are investing in this space, and we believe that the better consumer experience we can provide, and the data serving as a way to personalize, it's a win for consumers.
Yeah, so that's amazing. So like Jude, you talk about going from everybody gets the same checking account to this highly personalized experience. And now it seems like that's even happening in the CPG side. And that's fascinating, this idea that, my experience with a P&G product would be different than Jude's. I think that's really exciting. It all comes back to this kind of core idea that ultimately all businesses are at their core data businesses. Like we both generate data, we collect data, and we purchase data from third parties. We're creating an asset at the core of our business, which is not just the physical asset of the banking branch or the manufacturing plant or even the relationship value, the relationship with the consumer or the relationship with the retailer, but it's this core asset of the data that we generate as we manufacture our products, whether we manufacture them from a financial services perspective or actually bring physical product or, to your point with IoT, data-driven products to market. So this idea of data as a core asset, maybe you could share, and maybe we start with you, Guy, some of the challenges as a chief data officer you've run into with thinking about the volume and the variety and of the data that's coming at P&G, and what are some of the challenges of managing this asset that's different than managing some of the other assets that you have?
So I think it really starts first with the data strategy and ensuring that every business has a clear data strategy that's linked to their business strategy. Because ultimately, in my experience, data is only as useful as the strategy that and the business that is driving growth and value for. So having every business define a very deliberate data strategy, and then using our data and analytics expertise to create the data signals, maintain the data signals to serve that business strategy is really the first important step. And we're largely through a very robust set of data strategies across our businesses. The second part is, once we're clear on those data signals, really probably the two biggest challenges we're facing and we're actively working on is, one, ensuring that we have consistent quality of the data signals as we operationalize these data signals into our decision processes. As we're becoming more and more dependent on data to inform our decisions at a very granular and more real-time level, we simply can't afford to have those data signals have quality issues. So we're leveraging a lot of the AI capabilities to do automated data quality checks. We believe in self-healing data in that we're able to identify when a data quality issue happens, address it ahead of any decision maker experiencing that. So that's kind of the first challenge that we're innovating on. And the second, very relevant for the Tammer discussion, is the integration of data and harmonization of this data set. And that is not an easy task at an enterprise level where we're a global company serving 180 countries and 5 billion consumers a day. You can imagine the integration challenges associated with that. But we're again using AI to help with that challenge. And what I've found is that the real answer is a combination of technology and process ownership. And when we combine process, technology, and the culture and reward systems, those three things really drive the transformation in driving value through data.
Yeah, so it's really about creating this alignment between the business strategy and the data strategy, as you began with, but then thinking about how the supporting technologies integrate the best of what a machine can do. So this AI and ML type approach, something I think a theme we'll come back to in a moment, but combining the best of what that technology can do with the real human intelligence, the hundreds of thousands of employees and partners and channel and all these people who really understand, in your case, consumer intent and retail behavior and creating that relationship. And I think that's got to be doubly true even in the banking segment. At Fifth Third, how are you thinking about? So what are some of the challenges, or maybe some of the different challenges that you struggle with as it relates to data?
Yeah, I think for us, one of the challenges with data pairs real well with the underlying effort that us and a lot of banks are going through with we ride on the back of a lot of legacy technology. Most banks still employ mainframes that are 30, 35, 40 years old. We have probably 4 different generations of technology that at this point, with the acceleration of digital, into where it's going across our sector, everybody's really having to kind of break free from that legacy and go into more cloud technologies, go into more of the newer technologies that are out there in the marketplace. And honestly, disruption from non-traditional banks and from technology companies into banking is forcing that at a much faster clip. And where that kind of ties to data for me is, where your data sits, to position it to be on the edge for use and consumed as quickly as possible matters. So for us, thinking about, how do you position your underlying architecture to allow data to be both collectively together and accessible and consumable and usable, and putting it where it's most accessible fastest, are 2 very different mindsets from the way we've thought about data for up to this point, where data is felt better stored away and protected and pocketed in little silos. And then, the real challenge to all of that comes when when you want to do something new in technology, sometimes you get the advantage of starting over, right? Cloud's sometimes a nice start over. Like, I can divorce myself from the old stuff. I can sunset it. I can move on to new, and I can almost build clean. Well, you can't kind of start over with data. The data is what it is, and it's where it is. And so, while I've got some nice new shiny technology in different places I never had it, it's the same data coming from the same sources that's disparate, that's siloed, that's all over the place. And now I've got to make it look like it's shiny and new as well, right? So it doesn't have the benefit of infrastructure and the cleanliness of that. So how you marry those 2 things to get the most value out of data is really one of the biggest challenges I think we're finding, is like that transition's easier on infrastructure, and it's easier in software, and it's easier in those more traditional kind of IT worlds than in the data world, because you can't start clean. You got to start with the mess you got to some extent, and you've got to fix it, and you got to fix it quick. And then you've got to really rethink the whole strategy. To Guy's point, I think that strategy that he laid out is very identical to the way I think most companies in Fifth Third's thinking about it. So you got to marry all that together, then make sense of it. And time isn't our friend in my world. Like, this industry moves very quickly and disruption's happening fast. So you're always kind of up against the clock as well.
Yeah, I mean, not only do you, I think your point is very well taken. Not only do you start with the data you have, but it doesn't stand still. You can't be like, all right, everyone stop banking for a day while I get my stuff in order. It's like, no.
Yeah, that doesn't happen.
Every day.
It is quite the opposite, right? If you think about banking, traditional banking up to probably 5 years ago, I mean, the whole bank kind of operated on these, banking hours where, it was 8 to 5 on Monday through Friday and 8 to 12 on Saturdays. And so banking systems were set to run massive overnight processing, because that's when all the transactions of the day get kind of rolled up and through your old legacy systems. banking's a 24/7, 365 desire of our customers now. They don't ever want to be down. They don't ever want to be off. Branches don't close because you've got your mobile apps. So when do you fit all that data processing into your world when now the time you did to do it is no longer off, it's now on? And so it brings really different challenges to an industry that didn't have to think about it that way for a long time.